I literally had to come here today before I recorded my video because I needed to calm down. So with that being said, let's get into today's video and welcome back to the Freedom Pines podcast. I'm your host, Jamie A.B. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into today's video. So today we're going to be talking about a multitude of things, you guys, because I avoided the news for a couple of days just to give my mind a break. But here's the thing. I wish that I could just ignore politics. I wish I was at some point in my life where life was affordable and I no longer had to worry about politics, or I didn't have children and I didn't have to worry about the future that they may have to endure and will they be able to afford a house and stuff like that. So when people wonder why I'm doing this, I want you guys to understand something. I used to work in the schools. I saw so many horrible things happening in the school. I also haven't been able to do much since I took something that was safe and effective, and I need to use my voice somehow, you know what I mean? I actually went to school for television and broadcasting before CYW, and so I thought, why not use my ADHD for the positive and make some videos and try to make some sort of difference. And hopefully one day my health will be back to normal and I will be able to work in my community and serve my community a lot better than I am able to right now. But for now, this is what I'm doing. So anyways, guys, and I'm also raising 3 kids. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. Because I often do ask myself these questions, guys. I'm like, what am I doing? I have to care because every time I go to the grocery store, I feel like I need to steal. And I've never felt like that before. I've never felt panicked and in fight or flight mode every single time I have gone grocery shopping quite like I do now. So, with that being said, you guys know over the years I have learned the importance of gas and oil. I have learned how important it is for certain economies like Alberta's economy, Canada's economy in general, and not only that, how important it is to literally keep us alive, okay? I have really understood, and you know what? The thing is that instead of going so gung-ho on all of these things, why haven't we used a plethora of different things to power different things? Like, why does it always have to be all or nothing with this government? I have no idea. And a part of me, so an interesting part of the Vassey interview that I don't think anybody is kind of talking about. So he talks about an energy superpower. Now, I want you guys to understand something. Nuclear is considered clean now. There's a couple of other things considered clean. I'm not so sure. I think he meant in this interview that he was going to give it up to the provinces. Now, let me find it.
Start to refine that list and move forward. And we will change things at the federal level that need to be changed in order for projects to move forward.
Does that include C69 or the emissions cap?
It could include both. Yeah, absolutely could include both. But I'm not going to do it conceptually. I'm going to do it on specifics. Do it for moving forward. And that's the point. The test is Canadians deserve results, not rhetoric and not talking past each other.
Okay, found it.
And we've been absolutely clear. I've been very clear about this. We will rely on provincial environmental assessments as appropriate. That is a huge shift.
Yeah, that is a huge shift. So, and that aligns with this whole Bill C5 being repealed in Ontario. Now, I need to go over that bill still because the left sometimes overreacts about things, but also they sometimes, a broken clock strike twice a day. Just kidding. But I will say this bill does put a bunch of restrictions on opening up every single thing, okay? And then I hope he's telling the truth. I hope he's telling the truth because that means that Northern Ontario will be opened back up. That means Alberta could thrive. That means so many places could be able to use different kinds of, like, we have main ingredients, minerals, elements of the earth that are good for like electric batteries and stuff. Not that I think that they're great for the environment, because they're not. Honestly, the more that I research and do all of these things, the more, and like realize how good gas and oil is, and realize how efficient pipelines are. There was a story I was just watching about a train, I believe it was a train crash in Quebec. And Quebec is against pipelines, but this like created a massive explosion, I believe. It was the first thing I watched when I woke up this morning, and then the comments were all like, this is atrocious that Quebec still opposes the safest way to get oil to different gas and oil to different places. And I'll obviously tell you right now, I have no idea how these processes work. All that I know is what I've researched of the overall. Like, I know that we send something down to America and they refine it. Not sure why we can't have refineries here, but something tells me something's fishy, because I think Boots did a story, I believe it was Boots, did a story about how there's a nuclear one going in between Sault Ste. Marie and Thunder Bay, I believe, where they put nuclear way underground. I don't know, something about their fixes for the bad energy never seem to be better fixes, by the way. And that's the same with the plastic bags. Okay, my dad told me that they introduced plastic bags because they were killing all the trees for the paper bags. And then all of a sudden they're back to using paper bags, but also these material bags that have proven to be way worse for the environment. That's just what it seems like a bit to me. But obviously I'm very open to, like, when I think of nuclear power, I think of Homer Simpson and like the whole town blowing up. Like, that is what I picture, but I know that it's gone beyond that, and it is maybe a safer version. Oh, I know that is what they're saying. Okay, I need to know if they still want to ban fire stoves. Okay, I need to know that. Number one, I need him to denounce the fact that he said that homeowners were a disposable class who were only good for keeping peace and fighting wars. I'm going to need him to explain why he put that quote in his book. Thank you very much. So if someone in the ether could get that to Vassey, that would be great. And my hope, okay, is that Mark Carney does allow Canada to thrive. We deserve it. We have so many different things to offer, and we are one of the safest and most ethical places to work. We need to keep an eye on our provinces now with all of the stuff that they're doing, because here's the thing. We do need some regulation, okay? For the love of Pete, okay? There's a place called the Glory Hole in Cobalt, Ontario, and it is a mine. It is a 250-foot shaft, open mine in the edge of the town. Used to be in the middle of the town until half of the town burned down. So I also live in a town where the smokestacks were so low that they were giving people cancer. Okay, we do need regulations. That's just common sense. So we need to be keeping an eye on our provinces and seeing if what the left is saying is true. I will be looking into that, and I will get back to you guys tomorrow on the bill that they're talking about in Ontario. Maybe in other provinces, you guys could see if that's somehow happening in yours. Why does one government do nothing and then the other, like Stephen Harper wanted to not even have data collection on crap, okay? And not that I'm saying Stephen Harper's government was even comparable to Justin Trudeau's, like the mistakes that Stephen Harper made versus Trudeau. But then we went 10 years without tapping into literally anything, even with Japan and other countries begging us to have our clean energy so that they didn't have to get it from dictators. I have no idea. Okay, I have no idea why for the last 10 years this same exact government would be saying one thing and then turn around 10 years later and do another. So that's what we're going to talk about next, is the fact that this is the exact same cabinet. Oh my. So I literally just had to do some stretches and let my phone cool off, because I've tried to record this part of the video so many times because I don't want to be too negative. But here's the bottom line here, okay? Here's the bottom line, is that this is the exact same government. This is the exact same government, and I don't know how to forgive a government that wanted to extend MAID to minors, okay? I don't know how to forgive a government that locked us in our homes, that, froze bank accounts when we protested our bodily autonomy. I do not know how to forgive a government who has purposefully made food and energy expensive to put us into poverty, to have that mindset to save the planet. Okay, I don't know how to get past this, because they hire the exact same people that have been ruining our lives for the last 10 years. And it's been quite clear to me that Justin Trudeau has been calling all the shots, and, the Liberals and the NDP just do what they're told in regards to Trudeau's government. But we are really struggling. We are really struggling. We should not be struggling. Specifically, my family should not be struggling. When you go through working your butt off in your 20s to only being more broke in your 30s because the cost of living and food is so expensive, that's going to drive people crazy, okay? All of the people who were told, hey, go travel, go to school, go do all of those things. And then, when you're ready to settle down. When you found the perfect person, settle down. Well, you can't settle down because you can't afford a house. You can't afford a house. And might I add that I don't think the left, or really anybody, remembers this. Not anybody, but like the left entirely, or they might not know because they're too young, but used to be able to buy like a $200,000 house with a salary of $50,000, with like the down payments were like $10,000 to $15,000, or $5,000 to $15,000, I should say. So they were affordable, guys. People are like, well, what did Pierre Poilievre do? He was part of a government before, and I will do an entirely separate video on that and the status of Alberta. But I don't know how to forgive this government when it's the exact same government. I don't know how to be positive about this when every time I go to the grocery store, I feel like I become the Trailer Park Boys, and I need to figure out how to get more money under the table so that the government doesn't see it and it doesn't tax us so we can have all of it. Why am I in fight or flight mode to buy groceries when my husband's salary is what it is? I'm not going to tell you, the logistics, but he makes good money. We should not be struggling. And, I'll just say this, what we used to pay like 10 years ago for our van and our truck payment was less than what we pay for one car payment now. Okay? Like that should not be a thing. My husband should be able to drive around at least a reliable vehicle. We've never bought brand new vehicles. We've never done those things. But my husband's worked his butt off to the point now where he should be able to do those things, or at least buy a new to us truck for him. Instead, he's driving around a truck that you have to get under to fix the shift, okay? Do you know how disgusting that is at a Northern Ontario dump? Any dump but Northern Ontario? Oh my gosh. And that covers the cost of living. That's if you're lucky enough to not be affected by the crime, by the CRA, which we are. They can just make up stuff and say that you owe interest on that made up stuff and take away everything from you. Everything. I do not understand how to move on and not pay attention when the only reason I started paying attention again, because I stopped from 2016 to 2020 when I would look at Trump's real tapes of what he actually said versus the sound bites, and then get even more mad than I was at the sound bites for making me mad because they were lying. And I decided, you know what, until my life changes, I'm not playing these games with these people. But lives have changed. My life has changed drastically. I'm sure a lot of you guys who are watching these lives have changed drastically. They're literally so good at their cause that they encourage people on the left to not talk to people who voted for Pierre Poilievre. I don't think that Trump is the boogeyman the way that other people do. I don't agree with everything Trump does. And by the way, I admire him for what he did yesterday, but I don't know what that means prophetically. But I digress. It's good to see him achieving more peace. Is that not what the left would want? But I digress. They say these things as if Pierre Poilievre would even have the level of influence that Trump would. And then as soon as Mark Carney says a Pierre Poilievre idea, they go with it. It's really hard because these people, we have almost half of our country who genuinely believes every single thing that the media says. And, you know, if they told them to, we need to go back to critical thinking skills. If someone told you to jump, don't jump. Okay, think about it first. You know, and who's to say that, I don't know, guys. How do you guys feel? The way that I have moved through life, okay, because I should be somebody statistically not doing very well right now, and, well, maybe I'm not, but I would like to say that I have been diagnosed with depression, ADHD. I do believe I have ADHD for sure. And I am also somebody, I want to make a whole video about this too, who has been working out for 10 years now, eating healthiest I can, doing the things that I need to do to help my mental health. And I would say that where I could be versus where I am is very impressive. But tell me, if you guys have watched to now, what do you guys do to overcome your hopelessness and dread? I like to drive to the beach with the windows down, especially on these beautiful summer days. I like to dance. I like to ice dip. I like to eat healthy. I romanticize my life. I decorate my home. What else do I do? Obviously, spend time with my children, garden, spend time with my husband, and have pretty good boundaries with when I worry about these things versus when I put them aside and worry about the, I would say real life, but the things that the government's doing is impacting my real life, whether I like it or not. So I will be here. I want to do a whole video about that too, though, like how to survive in Canada right now, like what we need to be doing, coming together as community, growing gardens, doing everything we can as citizens, because we have forgotten the art of community. As I say that I can't go out my community right now, but I can't. But one day I will be able to, hopefully. And because of people in my community, the freedom groups in my community, I am doing a lot better and know a lot more things than I would be if I didn't. So please, that is another thing I will say, get in contact with your local community. And a lot of us have plans with our local communities, freedom communities, especially because the government doesn't seem to have a plan if there's a fire or something like that. So we have all come together and thought of different things. But I know not everybody is dealing with those sorts of, you know, natural disasters and stuff. But still, let me know what you guys do, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Maybe. I might make another video today, but it is really nice again today. And you know, we're not allowed to have a couple of nice days, so it'll be rainy one day, and that's when I'll make like more videos. But in the meantime, thank you guys so much for the support, and I will see you tomorrow.